In Philippines is moving along a little more rapidly than I expected, so it looks like I'm doing a little more of these Duterte videos than I anticipated. Quite frankly, I didn't think this thing was going to actually happen according to how he laid it out in the elections. Well, what we had now is, alright, on my last report, I mentioned that he was trying to form an alliance with Russia as far as trying to bolster his defenses after basically kind of distancing himself from America and possibly even ending the ties that they had. So we have Russia Today reporting that Duterte snubs Washington and looks forward to a historic China visit. China visit. Now remember, some of his rhetoric was saying that China was the reason why his country is in the grips of this horrific drug epidemic where, you know, a lot of people are doing meth and all these other drugs. Mainly meth is the one that seems to be the focus of this drug war. He's always saying that China is where this comes from, or the gangs in China are the ones that run it. So that even if you bought a dime bag on the street corner, you know, China has never been like allied with the Philippines as long as I've been around. I don't even know if they give them aid. I know the aid from the region, a lot of people give Philippines aid, but there's different reasons and different interests, and there's disputed territories, and we'll get into that a little bit maybe. So I'm going to run this. Relations are souring quickly between the Philippines and the United States as President Rodrigo Duterte and 250 Filipino business executives head to China, a historic rival, later in October to discuss partnership prospects. China has repeatedly invited me. I've accepted the offer, Duterte told reporters, announcing the visit, which is scheduled for October 19th through the 21st. According to Reuters, Duterte's China visit is already oversubscribed, with business and government officials all eager to discuss multi-sector economic cooperation with Beijing. There were initially supposed to be fewer industry professionals, but the number has gone up to 250. Trade Undersecretary Nora Tirado told Reuters, adding that the delegation's unusual size is due to the fact that the meeting had only been agreed to a month ago. Duterte criticized U.S. President Barack Obama for arrogance as he announced the visit, despite the Philippines being a key U.S. ally in the region. And if you hear like Hillary talking about Russia all the time, and Syria is a big deal for some reason, even though a lot of other countries are doing the same kind of civilian mass executions that they are, for some reason we got to focus on Syria. Well, all this is about chessboard, strategic positioning and allies and regions and all this and that, and I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to see where we're going to, as American, the American people in the, you know, the Defense Department and the Department of Affairs that deal with just like, you know, just general relations. So far we have basically them sitting back, kind of seeing how this is playing out. All right, back to the article. Duterte, all right, criticizing Obama, and he was this is following a series of inflammatory remarks that Duterte threw out there in response to Obama's criticism of Philippine leaders' tactics in his domestic war on drugs. I don't think Obama went far enough. He didn't really criticize anything too much. He didn't say nothing back that was all that impressive when Duterte launched his tirade at him. So anyway, until recently, though, the two planned joint military drills in South China Sea, a territory China lays claim to. Those plans were put on hold on October 8th when Duterte said this year's annual naval exercise would be the last. Quote, "For as long as I'm there, do not treat us like a doormat because you'll be sorry for it," Duterte threatened. "I will not speak to you. I can always go to China." So this was a while ago when he started threatening this. However, the contested territories of the South China Sea remain an unresolved issue between the Philippines and China. On July 12th, The Hague ruled that Beijing's claim to the waters in the area infringe on Manila's sovereign territory. This was expected to put a damper on Chinese-Philippines relations even further. But amidst the deterioration of relations with Washington over the past month, Duterte has threatened he would retaliate by turning to China. And he appears to be making good on that promise. We do have a very popular president, and the president decided that we wanted to have better relationship with China. Francis Chua, chairman of Emeritus of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, said, "We are neighbors. This is actually what the president is thinking. Instead of fighting, why don't we just become friends?" This sentiment was echoed even more colorfully by Beijing's ambassador to the Philippines, Zhao Jinhua. Quote, "The clouds are fading away. The sun is rising over the horizon and will shine beautifully on this new chapter of bilateral relations. No concrete Philippine-Chinese deals have been set in stone, but discussions held on day one of Duterte's visit could shed more light on that. There have already been suggestions in the sphere of infrastructure and transport, with Chinese firms expressing a wish to modernize railroads in the Philippines. No mutual defense prospects have been voiced as of yet. Like I said, Duterte sounded like he was going to talk to Russia about that. Experts believe the Philippines could stand to gain significantly from cooperation with China, especially on pressing issues such as energy, infrastructure, and unemployment." So again, Duterte is out there shaking things up. I guess that's the only way I can describe it. He's distancing himself from Washington, and when I say that, I do mean it sincerely. It's all him that's doing it. Like, he said this and that about Obama, and Obama was like, "Oh, Duterte, he's a colorful character." And then he said, fuck off to the EU, and they kind of didn't really say much. And the United States is definitely a deep ally with European nations, so of course we were like, well, what are we going to do? If they're not going to say anything, I guess we don't have to say anything. I don't see, I don't know. So Duterte is determined to continue distancing himself from America. I think that's something, his own personal quest. And we have yet to hear an actual reason for any of this other than his hardline approach to this drug war and the fact that he might feel like he walked into something that he might not have, if it was all, if he was at the table when they were deciding to have these joint exercises and all this military aid that the United States provides to the Philippines and whatever else is going on, he probably looked at it like he should have been involved in the decision making. I don't know. I'm gonna stick to these Duterte stories. So if you like to keep up on the Duterte, and it gets hard to find these stories, or you have to watch a lot of news to catch them all. They're coming fast, and there's a lot of them. So subscribe if you like to check into this from time to time. Other than that, the Philippines, I feel really bad for you, and I don't know. I don't like Duterte. I don't think Obama really gets it, but apparently the globalists aren't really that concerned about this.